Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Happy Hour Podcast. Of course, I'm Ray. This is Matt. We're being joined by one of the other Warpig's, Blood. First time he's been here since moving out to South Carolina. And Blood, how's South Carolina treating you, man? Like, it's been super, like ass hot here, and I can only imagine that South Carolina is
literally ass hot.
Yeah.
Like the ass sweat is.
My parents were just here, and they said that it's about the same here as it is down there. It hasn't gotten super hot yet, but
really,
I have a feeling it's going to be. Actually, when we first got here around the springtime,
yeah,
it was friggin' horrible. Like with the
during spring.
With this pollen and the freaking allergy stuff.
Yeah.
There was like rivers of pollen on the street.
we may be hot, but we would probably never be as hot as what it is in Saudi Arabia. Apparently, today I got an email. Today, and it pretty much said that your podcast is trending. And I forgot what the company was right off the bat. Your podcast is ranked 156th in comedy. Yeah, 156th in comedy in Saudi Arabia. And I'm just sitting there and I'm reading this and I'm like, this person's probably trying to sell me a service. But I'm a worker. I'll take this. I will take deliveries. And that's the thing. And if Saudi Arabia, if this is legit, we will say this. We were talking about this on the pre-show a little bit. Is that if Saudi Arabia, if we go to number one in Saudi Arabia, we'll come live dressed like Saudi people, like with the whole garb.
He doesn't even know it.
We will dress like Saudi natives if we go to number one in Saudi, but it's not going to happen because I know the person's trying to. But
Saudi Arabia isn't that like where I'm so stupid? I'm geographically challenged. Dubai is Dubai near than Saudi Arabia?
I have no idea. Dubai is nice.
Dubai is like
Ray, your guest is here.
Tim, how you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm having a good time. You guys keep going. I'm coming to Saudi Arabia too, baby. I'm going.
And Dubai, of course, Dubai has that underwater city. Will Smith actually posted a TikTok recently of him swimming in that underwater city. It's insane. I think they said it's like the deepest point that you can go to in like a human-made thing. It's insane. And he showed it, and you can see like a whole city on there. There was like a car, there was like buildings and shit, and you're just sitting there looking like, why don't we have this shit? Like, why are we? And of course, Tim. What's up, man? We were supposed to have you on a few months ago. Of course, you're a Hollywood Stunt Man. You got called into a meeting and it ended up never happening. But how's everything been, man? Like, going on with you with all the movies and all that craziness during COVID.
Yeah, man. That's what was so crazy was COVID shut everything down for so long that when it finally opened back up, it was just mass chaos. And the way they figured it out was in the beginning, a lot of shows were locking us in hotels.
Really?
Oh yeah. So like when you and I were going back and forth, and I was like, man, I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like freaking property of the state, Like it was crazy. Like they lock us in the hotel, they're paying us to be there. So in their mind, they're like, you're ours whenever we want you. Like you don't have any other obligations. You can't do anything else. When we call you, you got to be available. So
you're getting paid. We own you.
Yeah, we own you. Yeah, but you know what? Like, how can we complain about working? I'm just happy they figured it out. Yeah. It's been freaking busy as hell, and just thankful, man.
Yeah, and it's funny because when you came in, we were actually talking about. I got an email today from a place saying, and I think they're trying to sell me a service. People do that all the time, trying to promote the podcast. And they sent me an email saying your podcast is trending. It is ranked number 156 in comedy interview in Saudi Arabia. And I'm just kind of like, well, I doubt that there's any truth to this, but I'll accept it. I'll take it. I'll release t-shirts to say that I'm good with it. And Matt, like we were talking, we were like, it'd be great if a Saudi prince, like, somewhere in Saudi Arabia, they actually hear the show and they love the show. Yeah, and they swoop us up. And Matt was like, I'll marry the Saudi prince. Like, yeah. So
no shame. No shame.
Hey, Matt, now I'll marry your sister. Don't you worry.
And Tim, of course, you've done some amazing stunt work for some amazing movies. You were in the Avengers, you were in Black Panther, you were the stunt double for Martin Lawrence in Bad Boys 3. Like, what was there any roles that you had where you got to be a stunt double for somebody that just kind of blew you away?
I have a problem, Ray, and my problem is that I don't, as excited as I am in general, I don't ever get too excited about anything. It's just, and all my friends and my family, they get upset with me because, like, literally, like, I'll be doing stuff, I don't think about it. I go to work, I handle my business. I'm thankful for the opportunity. I come home, not a big deal. Honestly, if I had to pick something, though, the fact that Martin is from the DC area, and and I'm born and raised in DC, and to have an opportunity to double him, I worked on a lottery ticket years and years and years before. It was a Bow Wow film, and I remember talking to Brandon Jackson at that point, who was the person I was doubling, and then later getting a chance to work on Big Mama's House and double him again.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
And I just kept thinking to myself when I was on Big Mama's House, I was like, man, I would love to be able to double Martin one day. And so when I got that call, it was pretty cool.
That's cool. And it sounds like, pretty much like everybody, they've always sat there and asked me, like, how can you just go and just talk to people, on the podcast? Like, we've had everybody on the podcast. Yeah. And I was like, well, pro wrestling kind of did that to me. Like, and, Blood can probably contest also is that us being in the locker room, we're sharing locker rooms with guys like Kevin Nash. I've been in the ring with guys like Jake the Snake Roberts, Blood with Spike Dudley. You're around those guys and you see that they're just human, just like you. So it's just kind of like, okay, we're having a conversation with somebody. What we're doing right now, we always say our show is like sitting down, having a few beers with someone and talk. Basically, if we were to meet you at the bar, we'd be like, oh man, let's talk about this.
Yeah, let's get past the bodyguards.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
let's
yeah,
talk.
yeah. And
I tell Ray all the time when he has me on, I'm like, well, I don't know who this guy is. Like, I look him up, see what you can do.
Yeah.
It's like, I was like, well, we're just going to talk to him, ask him what he does.
And it's actually funny that we brought up Marvel stuff because, with Marvel, we just recently started Phase 4. Phase 4 is in full gear. WandaVision is done. Falcon and the Winter Soldier is done. And Loki just wrapped. And, of course, Black Widow just came out. And, you're looking at this whole thing and, of course, spoilers ahead for anybody that's not caught up. So make sure if you're watching live or listening, tune out. Of course.
You haven't watched it yet. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah, so. The new villain was introduced. So, and just the whole roundabout way that they did it in Loki, introducing all that. And of course, you saw all these different variants of Loki. And of course, you got introduced to Sylvie, who was his female. Of course, it's funny because you had all these different versions of Loki. You had alligator Loki, you had, classic Loki, you had all these different forms. And I sat there, and it's funny because I saw Sylvie, and we were talking about this yesterday in our group chat, is that it's funny that everybody in Black Widow has posed nude in a movie at some point. And everybody on Reddit is going crazy about it. And it's like all three of them were nude. And as soon as I saw Sylvie, I was like, actress's name is she? And I sat there and I had this weird thought. I'm like, you have all these variants of Loki. And I was like, wouldn't it be funny if all the got it on with her, including the alligator, all at one time, just a free for all? And I was like, I'd sign up for that just for the alligator part. And of course, Tim right there. Of course, Tim's also an enrichment speaker. He's sitting there thinking to himself, I'm going to make sure I advise these people never go into the Happy Hour podcast. These guys are thick and twisted.
They did that just for the action figure, too.
Yeah. And how?
It's actually
what was it?
I was going to say, it's actually, man, the absolute opposite. I tell people all the time that, like, I came from such humble beginnings, and the way that I grew up, that one of the things that I try to stay true to is just being a real person, man. Like, I don't care if I'm standing in front of a Forbes 500 company speaking to people. Like, I'm going to be me, man. I've done college commencement, graduation speeches and jumped off the stage in the middle of the speech. You get what you pay for. You get what you sign up for.
And, of course, we're live on Facebook. Our good buddy Michael Walter said, Ray is looking handsome. Must be why the show is the top 200 of all Saudi Arabia podcasts, number 150, hashtag number 156. And I'm like, but
Saudi women love him.
We brought up the Marvel stuff. How was it doing your stunt work? Of course, everything that just goes into Marvel. Marvel's so brilliant with the way they do everything, the way they do their shooting, the way they keep everything on the wraps, the way they do their fights, their action sequences. What was the hardest thing with doing your stuff with the Marvel movies, Black Panther, Avengers, doing all that?
Well, I'll start off by agreeing with you, man. It's in the stunt community, it's like the epitome of performance. When you're working on $1 billion production, I mean, you got the top performers in the world. So, it was just an honor to be in the same environment with some of these guys, these LA guys and superstar performers from all over the country and all over the world coming together. The most difficult part, honestly, man, the days are brutal. When I tell you that the days are brutal because it's so much content you want to capture, so many things you want to get done. With like Avengers, to use that for an example, the top 10 are all superstars. They're all people who could run their own. They could be number one on any call sheet. And now you got them all in the same place together. You're trying to stay organized and shoot them all out. It's intense. But I'll tell you, though, what I think that most of us that worked on all 3 movies would say was some of the most intense work. And you're going to laugh because it sounds simple. But running up and down that hill during the battle scenes for Black Panther, oh my God!
Because I can imagine they probably had you guys doing it over and over again. Do it 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 again. And you're just kind of like, I can't run anymore. My legs don't
again.
I'm talking for days, not just a day. I'm talking days and weeks at a time. And what was crazy about it is, you got the highest level athletes, in the stunt community out here. We were all pretty well conditioned, but this hill was no light work, man. And the grass was so high that you couldn't see the dips. You couldn't see the potholes. So, you can't fall. Like, you're a stunt guy. You can't
also, oh, God.
So it was every take, and it wasn't just me. It was everybody. It was like, all right, here we go, guys. Stay on your feet. Whatever you got to do. But other than that, the fight sequences were fun. The wire work on big shows like that is really a place where we get a chance to shine. A lot of movies, 1 or 2 people may get a chance to ride a wire. But on a show like Black Panther or Avengers, there's so much action and people shooting all over the place that at some point you're going to get thrown across the room and slammed into a wall. And I know that sounds crazy, but being wrestlers, you guys know what it feels like to have that contact, And
with that, did any of the actors or actresses themselves go, hey, we want to do some of these stunts, and then made it to some of the things, like, for example, that hill, and then looked at it and they're like, fuck that, they can do it.
No, we own you. You cannot do that.
Yeah. Remember, you can tap in this hotel for weeks. We're not doing that. Yeah.
You would be amazed that a lot of these guys are super talented. And they're super athletic. Chadwick, may rest in peace. He's a martial artist. He was a martial artist. So a lot of the things that his doubles were doing, he was capable of doing. The issue is that there's only one of him.
Yeah.
So he pulls a hamstring, he gets punched in the face, he takes a fall the wrong way, and production has to adjust their schedule. One of us get jacked up, there's somebody else that's our size. They can, they'll find somebody to fill in the gap. So do they do stuff? Absolutely. Do they try to be careful about the extent of what they do? They have to, because it's a liability if they get hurt.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they probably won't let them do it, or there's probably certain people that won't let them do this stuff.
But Blood, what's funny is some of them have enough clout, they have enough voice that they're like, no, I'm gonna do this, and because it looks better on camera when the actor does the job, really capture it all. So there is some stuff you guys are watching that are actually the performers because they are so talented, and then the stuff that gets really extreme, obviously we have to come in and handle.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that with movies, and I brought this up on one of the episodes a couple of weeks ago. I was able to do a little bit of extra work for the wrestler Mickey Rourke because they were asking for independent guys to come down and sit in the locker room scenes. And it's crazy that to wrestlers, and I'm sure The Rock, John Cena, Hogan, all those guys that are just in that realm that are used to just going out and performing live. Like, okay, this is what we want. We want this, and this, but also being able to improvise and go, okay, well, we messed this up. We need to do this. Instantly correcting stuff that for me, the fight sequences, like you guys don't really like. You guys are very keen with throwing a punch and making it look like it hit, but it doesn't hit. And I always sat there and I'm like, well, pro wrestling, you can throw a punch, have it make contact, but also make it not hurt. And I always thought, I'm like, how come Hollywood has never, adapted that? And I guess, they're probably just afraid.
I don't know. I'd argue that they do some some of those hits are probably pretty real.
Oh yeah, I've heard that some people have actually gotten hit during movies, like because it would just slip, or like you would get someone like a John Cena that's never, and they're used to just making contact, and it's just okay, well, what's your thoughts on that with the fight sequences? Like do you like the way that they're kind of choreographed, like where it's kind of missing, or do you feel that there should be a little bit more realism to it, to where you can sell it, like you can make contact with it, you can sell it and register it, but also it's the kind of thing that it's not really a punch, along with that.
Matt, I have to laugh with you because it's been many a time that the punch wasn't supposed to land and it landed. Whole lot of time that the kick wasn't supposed to land and it landed. And I think at the end of the day, when stunt performers are performing with each other, we don't mind the contact, especially if it's body shots. With the facial shots, you got to be careful because, like I said, you guys train every day to make sure you control the contact point. But a lot of times, like I know for me, if I'm doing a fight sequence and somebody's got to kick me in the body, I'm like, hit me,
Taking
don't shoot me across the room, obviously. But
don't kick like this is Sparta, like down the
Well, I think with like MMA and stuff,
one take.
when they're training, I think it's like a 50-50. Like you're not supposed to hit fully on. You have to give them like a 50% like kick.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I don't know how you can gauge that shit, but I'm sure we're professionals. So I mean,
don't break your leg like Conor McGregor kicking me in this movie. And it's crazy because that's actually one thing that
I'm a big McGregor fan. So stop talking about
it. My God. See?
How can we not talk about it? Everybody has to talk about it.
But also, wasn't it Anderson Silva who did something like that a few years ago as well?
We got Anderson Silva, we got Chris Weidman, just had it happen recently, and now we got Conor McGregor. All snapped their legs in the ring.
And those guys, they did it inadvertently. And then you also have former retired pro wrestler Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid, who broke his leg. Did you ever see that, Tim? He
I never saw it. I heard about it. I didn't see it.
Yeah. Well, this stupid motherfucker, he's like almost 7 feet tall, and he's like, let me do a boot off the top rope. And so he jumps off the top rope and he lands with 1 foot, but his foot like doesn't land, like it's his ankle and his foot goes this way. Like his left leg goes that way. And like the whole time it's just dangling. And Scott Steiner didn't know what to do. And I'm sitting there watching it live and I'm like, pin him, pin his ass.
Take it home.
Because that wasn't supposed to be the finish.
Well, probably should have used the stunt man to do that.
So what do you
him to do that?
We should have used him to do that.
Put some stilts on me, put some 2 feet stilts on me. So what happens, like, because I mean, you guys have planned this out. So what happens? It's a live event. The dude comes off the rope and freaking breaks his leg in half. Like, what's the protocol for that?
I mean, it kind of
pin him.
Yeah, I mean, well, blood. He actually, I don't know how familiar you are with Dark Side of the Ring, but they showed just a small little smidgen clip of blood in the Nick Gage episode recently from Tournament of Death, and blood actually cut his Achilles in one of the death matches. He got thrown over top rope into a shopping cart full of light tubes.
Oh, that wasn't my Achilles. It was the whole front of my leg.
Well, whatever. But it was so bad that you were out for months. But it's the kind of thing that, I've never had any serious injuries, but you hear about guys like Hardcore Holly who broke his arm and still worked another 3 minutes in the match. Like, a lot of guys in the business are like, if you can finish the match, do it, because it shows how tough you are as a wrestler, but if it's something serious like that, you just got to pin him and,
just roll out. Yeah.
He can't do anything, like, obviously, but if it's the kind of thing, I go through a table and I blow, like Triple H, he blew out his quad and wrestled the rest of the fucking match with a blown out quad.
Hogan dropped his whole freaking lat muscle lifting up the giant.
And I mean,
so I think it's just, you just go with the flow and pin. That's what I would do. I'm not a wrestler.
It depends
I'm not
on
cool
the situation,
like these guys. But,
I didn't see the McGregor fight. When he did that, was the fight instantly over after that?
I think I don't know.
Oh, you mean the McGregor fight?
Yeah.
It was literally 5 seconds left in the round when he threw the punch. He came back, fell on his foot, hit the cage, and the round was over. So it was good timing that the round was over.
Yeah.
They looked down, saw his leg was in 2 pieces, and that was it.
Yeah, and Conor McGregor is a crazy ass mofo. I feel like that if it wasn't like, I feel like he probably would have tried to keep on going. Like he probably would have crawled out and kept on throwing his fists in the air, you know, trying to do a little bit of something while being kicked in the face while he's down. Like,
well, he was certainly down there talking plenty trash. He talked trash the whole damn time he was on the ground. Whole time.
Well, I mean, at least with that, like, you know, unlike the Jake Paul Floyd Mayweather fight, which was obviously a work. That was the biggest. Like, I'm sitting there, they're talking about that thing. I'm a pro wrestler. I'm like, this is the biggest work I have ever seen in my life. But I think Floyd is a great boxer, but he's even better of a businessman. He knows that just when he wrestled at WrestleMania, you didn't think it was going to go well, and it was amazing. The way he did that. And the fight he had with McGregor, the fight that he had with Jake Paul, he's a businessman. And they know how to sell those fights, and that's exactly
like the thing is with the McGregor and the Floyd fight. Floyd is honestly, he's the shit. Yeah, you're not going to tell me that Floyd Mayweather is not going to win against McGregor because it's a different aspect of fighting.
That's
absolutely. It's anybody in the world that thinks that they can train any type of striking technique and then get in the ring with a traditional boxer and just beat them up has lost their mind. It's a whole different fighting skill set. It's a whole different skill set. Well, but you know what? We can't be mad at Floyd. You know what Floyd says all the time? And he said it after the Paul fight. He says, man, this is legal bank robbery.
That's pretty much what it is. I mean, that's coming from a dude who carries $1 million around with him at any given time,
and he's telling you this, and you're still betting on it.
You're still gonna buy it.
You know, that's the thing. It's like, but who's gonna sit there and want to try to, you know, fight Floyd for $1 million that he keeps in his bag? Like, that's the thing.
I'll fight him for $1 million.
You're willing to marry a Saudi prince and let them. Like we were talking about this on the pre-show. I said the Saudi prince has gold everything on his plane. I'm like, Matt, what's going to happen is he's going to melt down gold into like molten gold, and he's going to pour it into your asshole, and you're going to have a gold asshole. Like that's what the Saudi prince is gonna, you know, do if, you know.
Hey, but I'm taken care of, okay? Okay.
And of course, you've been around a lot of movies too, where, you know, there's been explosions, fire. You know, what do you think was the biggest basically biggest explosion or hottest or loudest explosion that you've dealt with on a movie set?
Wow, that's a question that has me like spanning 17 years, man. I don't know if I'm going to be able to give you. I really don't know if I'm going to be able to give you a quick answer to that. I don't know. Like, there are a couple things that come to my mind, but I don't know if I can name one off the top, man. They're all the thing about explosions and fire is that it spans past just the stunt team. So, you know, we have to be so locked in at that point because we got the effects team and so many other departments that are responsible for making that stuff go off. I don't even know if I'm enamored by, you know, which one's bigger or smaller. I'm more concerned about me and my team staying in a safe proximity because we know what we're going to do. We know what we're trained to do. But when we bring in other people that have to handle other aspects of the process, that's when it can get, you know, get sketchy. And we've had a lot of guys get hurt. We've had, you know, casualties before because of it.
Have you ever had any to where they just kind of, you know, it caught you off guard? Like, you know, you're talking something out and you didn't realize that like, for example, I'll bring up Kane in WWE. What they would do is they would wait. They'd come back from commercial break and you would never, and Kane, the first part of his music, they cut that out because when he would come out, it'd just be the boom. And when you were there live, it'd be that loud ass explosion, and that was the hottest heat I've ever felt in my life. The way they did it,
felt that heat like in the top rows.
Oh, I mean, you're like, oh shit,
it's
like,
just totally
you know,
random, and you're like, oh
yeah, and it's just insane. Like, you know, is there ever a time where you were caught off guard by, and you were like, man, I didn't know it was going to be that big?
I've been the victim of it. What are you talking about? You know, because again, it goes back to what I was saying. So the count is 3, 2, 1, go, right? So 3, 2, 1, boom! No, it's go.
There was no go. There was no go.
There was no go. You go.
And we deal with that with pro wrestling all the time. We'll be sitting there, we'll get ready for the move, and it's like, all right, you ready? 1, 2, 3, and then like motherfucker doesn't jump when you get to 3. You're just kind of like, oh, all right, well. This was supposed to be a suplex, but now it's a DDT because you didn't jump. Like,
and you deserve to be on your head right now. That's what
Yeah, and
I told you to duck.
It's funny because I've never been. Obviously, we've never been in the element that you have with explosions, but I have heard an explosion that caught me off guard, and it was at your brother-in-law's Christmas party. And basically, my wife, her brother, he's a big boy. He's a big boy.
We get a little crazy down
we're sitting there and we're drinking, and we just hear an explosion. It sounded like a plane crashed into the house, and we're just kind of like, what the hell happened? And we go out there, and he's laying on the floor, and the punch bowl was on the floor, and we're like, just kind of. And so my wife described to us, because she's seen it happen.
I saw it.
You saw it.
I saw it happen.
So pretty much, he got up and he drank one beer. That's it, one beer. So he got up, and he was wearing. I'll never forget, because this will tie in later. He was wearing a Home Alone. It was an ugly sweater.
Do not make
party. So he's wearing a Home Alone ugly sweater, and so he fell. And he landed chest first on the counter, like hard, and the counter shifts. And I guess as he's falling, he tries to grab the punch bowl to pull himself up, but it's a punch bowl. So mind you, the punch has already spilled all over the counter. So you see him with the punch bowl just go off and hit the ground.
Played out in slow motion.
Oh yeah,
I swear you're right. Oh my God! I mean, I'm sure that it was like, oh my,
geez,
oh my,
and then he hits the ground. So we're all like, what the hell happened? Like, what? We thought the oven blew up or some shit. And we go out there, and our friend Crystal made it so much better, because she looks at him. She's like, "Look what you did, you little jerk!" Just like on Home Alone. Everybody just loses it. I'm just laying on the floor.
That was
laughing hysterically. And every time I talk about fire or explosions, I'm like, I've once heard an explosion. That's what it was. And
I've been on fire a few times, but
yeah, blood.
It looks like you're about to be on fire right now, blood. What is that?
Yeah,
blood used to shoot fireballs at like.
Holy crap! That is a fire.
That's legitimately a fire.
Yeah. Blood's like, I don't mind fire, and he just lights himself on fire live on Facebook
fire right now.
Hey, you know what? The thing about COVID, it's bringing us all together, see us all in our element.
Yeah.
He's out here in a freaking fire.
Yeah, that's great. I'm actually doing some fire training next week, preparing for a show. Yeah, you talk about having to properly prepare, man. Being set on fire is freaking insane.
In case we're gonna set you on fire and pee on you.
That's all. Don't worry.
And it's funny because do you know Kane Hodder? He played Jason in Friday the 13th, 7, 8. I
know the name. I don't know him, but I know the name.
Apparently, I saw him post on Twitter earlier in the week that when he was younger, he did a fire act, and I think he got like really bad burn early on in his career.
Jason, I mean,
and he posted that like, hey, this happened 30 years ago.
Did he do Jason Goes to Hell? Then I'm pretty sure he was on fire.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing, and it's like when you have that element of fire, it's just Has there ever been a time where you got a script and you just kind of look the script over? And I'm sure scripts for you guys. Do you guys get scripts, or do you guys just get kind of a layout of what the stunts are? Have you ever sat there and just kind of went, I'm not going to do that? Like, no, that this isn't gonna, I don't, feel like this is for me at any point when you've done a movie.
Typically the only time we'll get the whole script is if, say for instance, if we're doubling a lead actor, or we're working in an acting stunt capacity where we've got a performance responsibility. Other than that, we're typically just going to get the dailies, which is going to show us what's going on for that particular day. And it's the stunt coordinator's job to let us know exactly what it is that we're signing up for when they hire us. So if there's anything you're uncomfortable with or anything you don't think is cool, you need to let them know that before you get hired. Okay. Once you say yeah, and you're there, your ass is going off that building, buddy. Whether you like it or whether you don't like it.
To me.
I own you. Remember that. You'll be fine. Have I ever gotten on the set and on the day they decided they wanted something different than what we discussed? Absolutely.
Okay.
And I'll tell you the thing that I love about our community is, as a whole, it's safety first.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something. If I'm the coordinator and I hire Matt to come do a job, and then I change the job on Matt last minute, and I say, okay, Matt, no, you're not going to get hit by the car at 5 miles an hour now. You're going to get hit by the car at 30 miles an hour, Matt. Yeah.
500 miles an hour.
I'd say I've seen those crash dummy videos, and that's a no for me.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. And if something happens and Matt gets hurt, not only is it sad that Matt got hurt, but as a coordinator, that's a mark on my record because I had a guy on my clock that got hurt. So at that point, it's the person's job to say, I'm not comfortable with that, and then trying to find a fair compromise. So fortunately, that doesn't happen often.
Right.
Now,
so Tim, now you bring up like safety and stuff, and as far as stunts and shit go, very, respect to your, like you said, like your community, because you guys are a community of stuntmen. Make sure everything is in line, everything is safe before you do this. Now, speaking of people who are unsafe, like in I think it was like this past week, Jackass.
Yes.
Sure, you're familiar with He puts it.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. And mind you, it's Jackass, but also this week is Shark Week.
Right.
So
so I don't know.
I think he knows where we're going.
I don't know if you heard the news, but the guy that now, obviously they're not professionals. Let's be honest. They can call themselves professionals, but they're not. And I'm not I'm not trying to throw any shade at them.
Yeah, it's different. Like what Tim does compared to what they do is a whole complete different element.
But if Tim was like, because the stunt was the guy was jumping over a pool of sharks.
That sounds like a great idea.
On a wakeboard.
What could go wrong?
Okay, so apparently he didn't even get the stunt completely. He didn't get the stunt completely off, and he fell because I don't know. I'm from Baltimore, and I've lived down in Bully's Quarters, so we're on the water. Wakeboarding is pretty difficult as it is.
Yeah.
So the guy barely gets up out of the water, and he gets mauled by a shark. Well, it is Shark Week, dumbass. He was mauled by a shark. And he lost almost most of his hand, but luckily the doctors were able to sew it back together. And I think he's lost 2 fingers, or he's lost 2 feeling in 2 of his fingers, or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's never going to be the same. Now, what I'm saying, as your profession that you're in, you're probably like, yeah, you're jumping over a pool of sharks. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
No. There's nothing good that's going to come out of that.
Yeah, it would be a CGI shark or like a mechanical shark. Like jumping over real sharks in a movie. Man. That's not feasible. Like that's just more power.
The name says it all. Jackass. Who does that? You can't. We do things that we train to do. Like we go on set and do things that we physically are prepared to do. I'm going next week to practice some fire gags so that we can go get set on fire. We don't just show up and be like, all right, let's set me on fire.
Yeah. It's like wrestling. People just don't walk into a wrestling school and get in the ring and do what guys who've been doing it as long as me and Blood have, just overnight. You get in there and even before big shows, you meet up at the school and you kind of go over stuff, but also you're trained to know that if something goes wrong, or you can talk out this same spot over and over again. I hated it when guys would just talk their match over. And it's like, dude, let's just go out there and wrestle. Let's just call it, we'll communicate, call it in the ring. Let the fans determine what we do. And it's just, and
that's
it's
where
insane,
the magic of wrestling really is,
and also, with Jackass is I saw Steve-O post a video that they took, I don't know what it was. It was some sort of cannon. And they shot shit, like literally shit, out of a cannon into the side of his ear. And it broke his eardrum. He had shit, a hole in his ear with shit in his ear.
Again.
And I'm sitting there
professional
like,
stunt people.
What the fuck? Shout out to Steve. I love the fact that he cleaned his life up, got his shit together. Kudos to him. But I watch some of that stuff with Jackass, and it's entertainment. I'm gonna watch the movie, no doubt, because I want to laugh my ass off. But
and that's really at the end of the day that is entertaining, dangerous. Entertaining though.
They're willing to sacrifice themselves physically in order to entertain people. Our job is to make it look like we sacrificed ourselves physically to entertain.
But you still do a good job.
That was our job too.
Exactly, Blood, right? That's our job. We make it look like it hurt, right? But did we get hurt? Absolutely. As wrestlers, you guys got hurt. You sustained injuries.
No doubt. Yeah.
I mean, we go to the hospital sometimes, but that's not the plan. These guys wake up in the morning and say, I'm gonna bust my ass today. Let's just see how bad it really is.
I'm gonna let a goat kick me in the face today. Just willingly let a goat kick me in the face. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing with that story is he didn't even get the stunt shot. Like
they didn't even finish.
He didn't get off the board. I mean, he should have took some boarding lessons. I don't know.
Here's the thing.
Well, there was a stunt, just not the one he planned.
His hands mauled. They should have treated it like an actual movie and go, dude, you need to reshoot this. I know your hand's falling off, but we need to do another take. Like, you better get your ass back on that board and hop over that shit. Like,
we don't have another double, so you gotta do
it. We don't have Tim, so we need to just redo.
Tim's
this.
like, nope, I ain't doing that shit.
Hey, if nothing else, can we get the footage in the movie? Like, let's watch him get mauled. Like, this is what you wanted to do, right? Like, that was you failed it.
I'm sure they'll release that. They might release that bonus content.
Oh, yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
They should. Like, there was no stunt safety for the sharks. There was no shark wrangler there, so he was at his own risk. So let's put it in the movie.
Yeah, and what we're going to do real quick for everybody listening at home, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to play some commercials and a song, and we'll be right back. For everybody watching live, we're going to just keep on rolling on. We're going to get right back into it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Happy Hour podcast. Of course, I'm Ray. I'm being joined by Matt Blood special guest co-host this week. First time we've seen him in a while. And of course, our special guest, Tim R. McAdams, Hollywood Stunt Man and Enrichment Speaker. And what we're going to do is real quick, we're going to get into our beer of the week. So Matt picked up the beer of the week tonight, and it is by Maui Brewing Company, and it's called Big Swell. So this, for those of you watching, that's what the can looks like.
Gotta get your swell on, bro.
Yeah, and I said my belly's gonna swell full of this beer, and it's like crafted with passion from the heart of paradise. We are an innovative and independent brewery. Welcome to the Ohana, Maui Brewing Co. MauiBrewing.com. So
that's a lot of hype for a beer.
Yeah, I think it's solid. It's not the beer we had last week, flawless. Like, that was great. Shout out the Rogue Brewing Company. But this is good. I don't like, though, how you have to go through, and you can't really tell in the video, but like it's that much of an area between the top of the can and the spout of the can. So it kind of like falls into a moat before you drink it. And then, it goes in, it just doesn't pour right into your mouth.
Okay, you can snob. It's beer. I'm not drinking.
Just drink it and shut the fuck up. How about that?
We're going to get into our shot of the month for the month of July, which there you go. And of course, some of you may know, and Blood might not know, but of course, Tim doesn't know. Our shot of the month is Deep Eddy Orange Vodka. So shot of the month for this month isn't really half as bad as some
I'd like
of the
to
ones
interject.
we
We need to make a shot or a drink now that says Deep Golden Matt's Butthole. Brought to you by Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, way deep in that butthole. That's what. So
not that deep. Come on, man. Jesus.
Not yet.
Whoa.
And Tim, do you drink any at all? Like, or do you drink like occasionally, or is
water.
It's just water?
He drinks water.
And I'd like to bring Deer Park to you guys tonight.
Drink of the night is Deer Park. So Matt, here's
Ray, that's
strong stuff.
You guys. I've got two of my childhood buddies. I mean, guys that I grew up with from the time that we could barely ride bicycles, coming here to Atlanta to hang out with me next weekend. And the first thing they say is, "Man, we miss you so much because you're the designated driver. We're going to get trashed all weekend."
Nice.
And we know that we got to ride home. We're taking the boat out. They're like, "We ain't got to worry about none of it. We can get drunk. We can do whatever we want." And
we took people to shows just to have a designated driver.
Shout out to our buddy Chris Burns. When he first started wrestling as a rookie, we took him to shows and we got him booked because we knew he didn't drink. And we were like, all right, yeah, we can go. We can go get him booked. We'll go to the strip club. We'll get really wasted. And then he caught on. And he's like, no, I think I'll drive myself, guys. And we were just kind of like, so you're going to make us drive back drunk? What kind of friend are you?
Shout out.
Knew he.
Drivers.
Yeah.
Shout out. There's a place for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
But I would never want to be in an environment with a bunch of people like me that don't drink. That's boring. Like, I want to be the guy that doesn't drink, and I want to be surrounded by the people that do. So that's the way I like it.
You can watch us do stupid shit like that.
Yes, absolutely.
And you're watching it, you're like, okay, I see what that guy's doing. Like, he's like hitting on a chick or something. You're like, Oh,
this ain't gonna work.
This is gonna be good.
Because I never had to approach a girl growing up. You know, my buddies were all over it. You know what I mean? They were at it. So it makes my life real easy.
And it's funny because Tim remembers, like those guys don't have to put the story together the next day. Tim just goes, man, look, I got all of it. Like, I remember everything. It's not because it's funny because collectively, like if me, Blood, and Matt were together, we would each one of us would have selective memory of what happened, and we would have to
put
piece the night together. But you'd be like, oh no, you don't need to do that. Like, I got everything, stored right here. Hey, look at this. You did this. Oh wait,
I got pictures. But you know what's bad, Ray? Is I'd rather you guys tell your stories than me tell the truth. Because your stories are far better.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I would love to hear Blood tell a drunk story the day after. Like,
it's
a great story.
The best is hearing Blood tell a drunk story when he's already drunk, because that's even better. Because not only do you not remember it, but you're also drinking, which makes you more so not remember it. So then you're just kind of like just babbling along, and it's the best. And some of our best content for those of you listening or watching at home, make sure you go check out the Warpigs episode 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is me, Socrates, and Blood, chronicling our careers in pro wrestling and being on the road, and just all the shenanigans we got into.
Shit gets wild on the road.
That. Yeah, and what we're going to do real quick is we're going to get into our game segment called Ode to Humanity. So, Tim, we play 3 games with each one of our guests. It starts easy, gets a little bit harder, and then it gets kind of weird at the very end. So
not too weird. Yeah. Don't worry.
No, I'm just worried about failing. So don't judge me. Let's have fun.
No. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with 5-second rule. Have you ever played 5-second rule before?
I haven't played much of anything, so no.
So what we're gonna do, we have a little time.
We're gonna get you out of your hotel for a little bit.
Take me out, man.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say name 3 of a certain thing, and you have 5 seconds to name them off. If you don't get it, it goes to Blood. If Blood doesn't get it, it goes to Matt. If Matt doesn't get it, it comes to me. If none of us get it, we're all just losers this round. So
now they're drinking the entire time. Now you're gonna
you can
Blood. Hey, Blood, be ready, Blood.
ready.
Be ready.
So Tim, I think you might fare well with this. Name 3.
Why? Because we're so unfit.
Name 3.
Because he's only sober one.
Name 3 types of exercise classes starting now.
Taibo, Zumba, and Dag. I need a third one.
Oh, so Taibo and Zumba are out.
Those cannot be take Zumba. I can't do that. You might as well just film me now. Go ahead.
So it's it goes to Blood next.
Blood? Okay.
So now it goes to Blood. Taibo and Zumba are out. Blood, 3 types of exercise classes starting now.
Spin, yoga, and karate. Is that a correct?
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it.
Matt doesn't want to have to do it.
I don't exercise.
I mean, really though, like with karate though, like if you do karate, like kind of karate is kind of like, I guess it kind of falls in with Taibo, but it's not Taibo. Like you can do kickboxing as an exercise.
Right.
I had a lot more than 5 seconds because you keep bullshitting. So
it's a discipline. It's an exercise. I mean, you still gotta.
Yeah. All right. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pin us right here. So the next game is called Incoherent. So pretty much I'm going to hold up a card and it's spelled out the way you would say it drunk. So pretty much what you want to do is say it, but say it quick. Hard for you say it fast. But there's also 2 hints on the back. So I can give you 2 hints of what it could be. Blood, you can also, guess
I can say it drunk for you.
Think of you guys see that card, okay?
Yeah. Tim, think about
we did
Georgia, how they would say it.
So sound that out, but listen to yourself as you say it and sound it out fast.
Okay. Mission Harry Boss, it's on.
What? I can't even see that.
Mission Harry Boss, it's on.
Mission Harry Boss.
Slow it down.
Am I supposed to be saying it?
Harry Boss, it's shown.
Mission something.
Mission?
Would you like a hint?
Mission.
You're on to something there. Mission.
Blood, I think we need a hint.
Missionary.
Missionary.
Sausage
position, missionary position.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it, missionary position. And the next hint was going to be like the only position approved by the Bible, which is missionary position. So yeah, you guys did well. You guys worked together as a team, and magic happened.
Well, the Lord knows I'm a savage. So.
I am drunk, so I just said it normally.
All right, and Tim, we can't do our Ode to Humanity segment without Cards Against Humanity. So have you ever played Cards Against Humanity?
Many times.
You know what you're getting yourself
See, a lot
into.
of people do. And that's what I like. Very few celebrities, guests, anyone that we have it's, and this is funny because we can, like, even normal people like us can relate to, have actually played it. Like, we've had maybe one or two people that are oh no, we don't know what that is. But most people know that game.
It was a Sunday tradition at Nana's house. Nice. To wrap your hands around that.
Nice. So what we do on the show is pretty much we'll read off the face card, and then we'll give you 4 options. If you need us to repeat any of them, just let us know. So the face card is, dude, you've got to go to space. Blank is awesome in space. So
I can think of a lot of things.
Your choices are getting #MeToo'd, this boring ass white bitch from work,
It's goddamn Karens,
the persecution of Buddhists by American-backed government South Vietnam.
That's for the Saudi Arabia crowd.
And stapling a butterfly to a cow.
What was the last one?
The last one was stapling a butterfly to a cow.
Okay. I'm ready.
Which one do you think?
I like B. If I'm going to space, I want to take this boring white chick with me.
Chick, you know?
That's mine. It's like, so
take what you can
I
get.
agree with you. Is that you've got to go to space. This boring ass white bitch from work is awesome in space.
Well,
Zero gravity, her whole game changes. You know, like, come on. Richard Branson was up there last week. Maybe he took some boring white chicks with him.
Yes.
Just last week.
Maybe Jeff Bezos will. Actually, Jeff Bezos is taking some old white lady with him. She never got to go to space. So he said, you know what? It makes sense. We just put this all together. He's taking Ethel, the boring ass white woman, never got to go to space with him. And he's also taking an 18-year-old. He's taking like an 18-year-old and like a 98-year-old. And it's just like, it's like a
random people in space. Like a bad fucking Muppet.
He looks at both of them because it's the woman and the young guy, and he goes, "You do know I'm freshly divorced, right?"
Yes, freshly.
At that point, you're up in space.
Freshly.
Where are you gonna go? Like,
as Tim, as a motivational speaker, what do you say?
Kudos to you, Jeff Bezos. Cheers to Jeff Bezos. You know, he's gonna have a good time. That's what I know.
Yeah. and Tim, I was thinking about this. What would be hilarious is if they ever put a movie together and they got stuntmen together, like you, yourself, whoever else does stunts, and they do basically a movie where it's called, like, the movie is basically like a cheap production movie, but that's the premise of the movie. And what they do is, like, let's say they bring you in and they go, okay, look, Tim, here's the way it's going to be. You're going to stunt double for Chuck Norris, and they have you get the long hair like Chuck Norris and the beard, and you stunt double for Chuck Norris, but it's such a cheap production that they can clearly tell that you're not Chuck Norris. And like, as the action, like as he gets kicked out the window, you just see him and someone just goes, "That's not Chuck Norris." Like, what is this?
That's good. Hey, listen, man, if enough people hear this, somebody will write that script. I promise you that.
Oh, yeah.
That's what people want to see. Like, people want to see ridiculous comedy like that. So
people want to see stupid. They want to see
stupid. That's right, blood.
And I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's funny because we used to do a local TV show called Happy Hour TV, and I told Matt, I was like,
you know what it was? Hold on, I just remembered. White chicks.
Oh,
You
yes.
remember White chicks.
Oh,
I think there was a dancing scene And the stuntmen or whoever clearly did the choreography and the dancing, no, it wasn't them.
And definitely not them.
It's funny because I told Matt earlier, I was like, if we had enough money, if we had a sponsor, and we were actually like on TV or something, I'd rather do this as a TV show and have you on as a guest. And it's like we could actually do skits like that, which would be hilarious. And it's just kind of like, okay, like it's The Crow. But it's Tim underneath the Crow makeup, but he doesn't have long hair. But it's the Crow. Stunt doubling for the Crow. And you're just kind of like, that's not the Crow. What's happening?
Well, I'm going to put it out here today that I can see that happening. And all that's in between it is some resources. I know that you can find the resources. So I'll be on with my Crow.
No, it could be called Stunt Man. That's exactly what it could be called, a Stuntman. And it's just this whole, it kind of like, what is the movie? This Is the End. If you ever watch that, and it was kind of like the parody of like a horror movie, and you had Jonah Hill and just all those guys in it, and it was just ridiculous the whole time. And that's just the whole premise of the movie. And like you get these like crazy cameos like from different people that you're playing as a stuntman as, but the whole role of the movie is you as the stuntman. But this company is such a low production crap company that every time the stuntman is just kind of like, this is never gonna work. Like I don't understand.
I think that's like in comedy. I think that's the best part about it, because I've seen a couple of movies where they actually use the footage from the stuntman when he's like zipped away from the zip line, and you can see it, and you're like, yeah, that was fake, but it's funny as shit.
If you watch closely, no matter how big the production is, sometimes it's like, oh, that's pretty damn obvious.
Like it's like a movie, and you have like Scarlett Johansson, who's the Black Widow, but the stunt double for her is like Mama June. And it's like, you clearly know that's not her. And you're watching the movie, you're like, wait.
The stunt man is Big Mama. You're like, no. I see right through you, Marvel. I see you.
I think it would sell.
It would sell.
Now, Tim, have you ever, aside from stunt doubling, have you ever done like any actual like, kind of like acting yourself in any of the movies? Because we know you do the stunt work, and like what roles stands out to you that you were able to act?
It's interesting that you asked that question, because my background is acting. I went to, you guys are from the DC, Maryland area. I went to Duke Ellington School of Performing Arts.
Sweet,
as a theater performer. So acting was my heart. Like that was at my core, and my transition into stunts was because I had an acting background. So the guys that put me in because they knew that I could perform on camera and perform the stunt as well. So I've had a chance to do quite a few stunt acting jobs. I know this is going to sound crazy though, but I'll tell you the one that's most memorable, and because it's recent. A couple of years ago, I got a chance to do a Lifetime movie.
Oh, nice.
And you guys know that when you do a Lifetime movie, your stock with the women goes.
Oh yeah, it goes up.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
man. McAdams.
Go to Connecticut and bump in a coffee house,
They just sit there and they go, wait, it's that guy from that Lifetime movie. The title, he was in a Lifetime movie. Look,
Lifetime movie, baby.
Aaron, I know he was in a Lifetime movie. Like,
I've had everybody from the mail lady to the cashiers and everybody in between. Like, oh my God, you were in that movie, A Sister's Secret, weren't you? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I've done all types of stuff and nobody remembers any of that. But this damn Lifetime movie.
Is that what it was? Please tell me that's what it was really called, A Sister's Secret.
Yes.
Dude, guys, you got to go watch A Sister's Secret, okay? And
that sounds like a porn title.
I'm sure my wife already has.
I'm already in.
It's not a porn title. Tim, I'm with you. I've already actually researched this.
You got to watch it. And I got to play the villain in the movie, too.
Oh, nice.
So, so I got to be the bad guy. So it's really, really memorable. But when you watch the movie, it's pretty sick. But it's a Lifetime movie.
Hey, that kind of takes us back to the beginning of the episode.
You were taking a ranch. You're taking away the ranch. With
Sylvie, it's kind of like Loki's secret. That's really Loki as a woman, and he's in love with himself. But no one's addressing this.
See, I'm going to appeal to his actor side. See, the great thing, and how you can tell who great actors are. like I'm gonna just throw out there a name like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes.
There's another guy I'm thinking of where is like they're good actors is where you love them one, and then like another fucking movie that they're in, you just hate them.
Yeah. Oh,
That's how you can tell a good actor.
And that's the thing.
If they can
it's
play
like
a good
wrestling,
like
you go
villain,
from face to heel.
right?
Like,
If you can
be a
tell
good good.
that's just fucking gold right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now,
and
play a
if
good
they can make
villain,
any movie good, like I watched Morgan Freeman. He was in this. He was in this movie about. I don't know if you've seen it, but all he was in a grocery store with like Selma Hayek, and it was just him and Selma Hayek for like 2 hours in a grocery store, and it was tremendous.
Yeah.
He can make anything good.
Oh yeah.
Read the alphabet, and it's good.
right? Well, that's how you tell between good actors. Is like they're jump roles like that.
Yeah.
Like if you can play a good role, like you're like this awesome, you're like the poster boy, and then you jump to like, God, I really just want to murder him.
Yeah.
That's what defines good acting.
Yeah.
And
I couldn't agree with you anymore, man. It's like in anything else. There are levels, you know. Like you could be LeBron James, or you could be the six man.
Yeah.
DiCaprio, the Denzel Washingtons of the world, the Brad Pitts of the world. I mean, they're just on another freaking level. And Will Smith, we talked about Will Smith earlier. Yeah, Will Smith is just incredible. His range going from just being an inner city rapper to the way he's developed and cultivated his skill. It's just incredible, man. They're on another level.
I mean, all the movies he's done, and it's crazy that this day, everybody in the new generation are experiencing the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like, it's insane. And that's not even when he reached his peak. That's not even him at his peak. And we're seeing that now. Like, it's just insane. Like, our podcast, like, we talk a lot about wrestling. Like, as you said, like, it's one thing to be able to go out for 6 to 8 months and have the people cheer you. And then that instant where you sit there and it snaps and you turn into a bad guy and you're able to make those same millions of people all over the world boo you at that instant as you made people cheer you. That's magic. Like, and that's one thing that actors and wrestlers and, theater performers and all that, we all share that same emotion of being able to drive that. Like, have you ever went to any, like, let's say, screeners of any of the movies and just seen the crowd's reaction? Because I know during Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, we were cheering, we were crying, we were laughing. Like, it's insane the
whole time
experience for certain movies.
No, and I'm talking about the theater experience for the premieres. So you're talking about the people who were involved in the production, and they're still emotionally moved by every second of it, and they know the script from the beginning to the end. But to watch it on screen and to see not just the actor's magic, but the editing work and the music work and just how it all comes together to make the project work. It's a thing of beauty.
I bet that is. I really bet that is.
Yeah, it's a freaking thing of beauty. And you wonder sometimes, like, you're shooting something, you're like, man, I can't wait to see the finished product. It's like, what is this going to look like?
You just set me on fire and maybe jump over a pool of sharks.
Yeah.
Like,
I can't wait.
What are you going to do? How is this going to look? I'll tell you a movie that I can't wait to see come out along that line. Actually, Ray, it was the film I was working on when we were trying to get together earlier in the year. There's going to be a Netflix film coming out soon. It's going to be called They Clone Tyrone.
Okay.
Wrap your hands around that. I don't think I got to do nation. And it's Jamie Foxx, John Boyega. So it's going to be an all-star cast, and
another great dude. Yeah.
Oh my God, you're talking about another person with incredible range.
Yes.
Do anything, right? Anything. Yeah. And when I tell you guys, he's the most humble, chill, down-to-earth guy at this stage in his life that you
would be that kind of guy.
Like that. Yeah. I've said that before. Like, I bet he's really down to earth.
Dude, I mean, I'm talking about, like, I've been blessed to be around a lot of guys that, consider to be top line, A-lister kind of guys. He would be telling a story and they'd be like, all right, let's go. And he would run on set, shoot the scene. And a lot of actors, if they're being nice to you, they don't come back to finish the story. Like, that was their opportunity to get the hell away from you. Jamie Foxx, they'd say, cut. He would come right back to the circle and be like, all right, where was I at? Okay, so then this is what happened next. And I mean, he's just amazing. And I got to share this with you because it stuck with me. He was telling a story one day. And he just looked, and this goes back to Matt, what you were saying about everybody's regular people. And he said, and this was before Jamie Foxx. This was before, you know, Jamie Foxx. I was out on the block. I was doing this. I was doing that and doing that. And he made it so clear that Jamie Foxx is the product. It's not me. You know, this is my alter ego. This is the person that I use to entertain the world and to make a living with. But outside of that, you're just talking to the real guy right now. And that's the type of person he is. It was so super cool.
And you know, it's amazing that someone like Jamie Foxx can do that. And you know, we probably have like maybe a couple of minutes left, and then we're gonna let you get out of here, Tim, because we're running up on our hour. What all do you have coming up, and where can people find you in case they're listening at home, watching at home? You know, where can they find you? You know, of course, IMDb, you know, look up Tim R. McAdams. You'll see whatever movies he's starred in, his Lifetime movie. Yeah, it's probably better that people notice you from a Lifetime movie than an investigation discovery show.
Absolutely.
Just imagine that. Oh, well, you murdered Susan. Like,
and one of my first on-camera roles was as an adult. Was working on America's Most Wanted. Like, I didn't want to be remembered.
Nice.
I didn't want to be remembered.
And you're just like,
solve mysteries.
I'm not the guy for real, guys. I'm not. It wasn't me.
Yeah. They said that, and that's the thing. You get this. You get like Carl, and Carl's just like, that's the guy from America's Most Wanted. I'm calling John Walsh personally right now. What's John Walsh's number? What is it?
I'm getting my reward. No, you're not.
Yeah.
For me. Well, the answer to your question is easy though. On all your social media platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, IMDb, it's all Tim R. McAdams. I put the R in there to separate myself. There's another guy out there named Tim McAdams. The R separates me, baby. So if you put Tim R. McAdams out there, you can catch me on all that. My website is Tim R. McAdams as well. As far as projects that I just finished up, I usually take July off. I just got the opportunity to finish working on Stranger Things, which a lot of people are really excited about.
Nice.
So I got to do a stunt acting job on that, which was a lot of fun. Got to get killed real fun, like nice headshot. You know, you're gonna get killed. You're gonna kill me hard. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Kill me right. You know. So that was a good time. Actually, Samuel Jackson's got an incredible movie that's going to be coming out on Apple TV called Memories. So I had the opportunity to work on that over the last couple of months with him. And Samuel Jackson is just another phenomenal guy. You know, I got a chance to work as his driver quite a bit in the show, you know, stunt driving through the city and stuff like that, because we were driving in live traffic. And I mean, he just was the coolest guy on the planet.
With Samuel Jackson, I don't mean to like cut you off, but like,
no, please.
His background, like from where he started, like because I heard he was like was he addicted to drugs or something like that at some point in his life, and he's like a household name.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, and, you know, Samuel Jackson. Like, I don't know what the hell you're smoking
with Sam, and I know it's probably his gimmick in movies, but does he say motherfucker in real life as much as he does in the movies? Like, I feel like he said it as much in real life. They just made it a part of his life in the movies. They're just kind of like, he's gonna say it anyways. We might as well.
It's in his contract.
Yeah.
He enjoys cursing. I mean, you know.
And I don't mean to prolong everything, but just like again, that's how you can tell good actors. Like, no shade or anybody thrown towards like someone like who's the guy Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
love the guy, but he basically plays himself.
Yeah, he plays Deadpool. He's played Deadpool in every movie he's done, and I love him.
Not being a dick, love him. He's a good actor, but it's like I said, the range. Like, you got these real motherfuckers there that are out there, like motherfucker this, motherfucker that. Like, okay, well, we're going to take this guy, and we're going to put him in there. Like, so you get people like Samuel Jackson and stuff. Like, but like I said, the guy's got so much range, and if you knew the background he came from, you'd be like, God, this is like it's like a fucking Cinderella story.
Yeah,
absolutely. And he didn't like really become famous until he was really older. You know, it wasn't like he got in the game early.
Like in his 40s already. Yeah. He was already lived half his life.
Well, he was still kind of getting going when what was it, Die Hard with a Vengeance? That was one of the first movies I remember seeing him in. Was Die Hard with a Vengeance?
Well, I think he did that. Then he did like that
was around the same era as Pulp Fiction, I think.
Pulp Fiction,
well.
Pulp Fiction.
Like,
he told me a story about that Die Hard, and I'm not going to tell the whole story because it's kind of star names out there that I probably shouldn't mention. But bottom line was he was talking about how he had auditioned for another role and didn't get it. And it was against another actor that we know very well. And that movie flopped. And he ended up getting casted in Die Hard. And Die Hard obviously blew up.
Nice.
He was so he was like, F that movie, I ended up on Die Hard and, made it. So I wanted to mention that movie because he credits that movie to being one of the biggest breakouts for him.
Nice. I loved him in that. That's how I got introduced because I grew up a big Bruce Willis fan. As a kid, my dad watched a lot of Bruce Willis movies. And I remember Die Hard with a Vengeance because the first two were a little bit before my time, but Die Hard with a Vengeance was as I was getting a little bit older. And I remember seeing him in that, and then it just kind of carried on from there. And, of course, everybody, Tim said, find him as Tim R. McAdams online. We will be back next week. Of course, next week is our coveted. Of course, we had to reschedule, but next week is the showdown. If he shows up again,
it's gonna
next
happen.
Week will be Socrates going face to face with Al Snow. Socrates will address his heat
on the phone. I would think yelling at me.
Former WWE and ECW superstar Al Snow. Almost, I think Socrates said that
I told Waylon
9 years from the date of 1 day after that from when Al Snow is in Pennsylvania. So he will be able to sit down. We will have Al Snow, who will be our special guest next Sunday right here on the Happy Hour podcast, live on Facebook Live at 8 p.m. For everybody watching us on Facebook Live, thank you for tuning in. For everybody tuning in on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora,
Saudi Arabia.
And also everybody over in Saudi Arabia.
Everybody in Saudi, we're coming.
Thank you for joining us.
How do you say goodbye in Saudi Arabian? How do you say?
See you guys next week.